Hey everyone, welcome to the video. Welcome to this New Year's, January 6th, 2020. I am back, and I'm going to be doing my regular updates as usual. I figured my first video of the year would be based on both Bitcoin and Ethereum. I'm going to start with Ethereum because that's the hot topic in the Discord right now, and just kind of talking through some of the trades that I'm in, and also just kind of talking about just the general sentiment of the market here. But of course, as you can see on your screen, all of this is not financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor. I'm here just giving my opinion on the market, and you're responsible for clicking those buttons, doing your own trades, managing your own risk. And so let's go ahead and just take a look at it. Again, I'm going to start with Ethereum, and I'm going to work my way into Bitcoin. And also, real quick, of course, thanks for watching. But there, a lot of people out there are talking about strategy and talking about edge and just talking about making money and all of this because that's why we're all here, if we're being honest with each other. And I do try in all of my videos to kind of talk through what my thought process is. And my thought process may not work for you, but again, this is just one data point that you could use in your trading. And I'm not trying to keep secrets here, but I'm also not trying to spread this out to the masses. We've got a small little following here, and I think it's great, and I like it. I like it because it's nothing that's going to cause everybody in the market to follow the same strategy. So I feel like this is decent. So let's just go ahead and get into it. Again, just keep an ear out for when I start talking about some of my strategies and my thought process as we go through this process throughout this next year. Okay, so taking a look here at Ethereum, we have we've got a good move up, and what I want to focus on is this move here from our pivot down here to this pivot up here, right? So what we're doing is we're pulling this up, and we had a good retrace down to the 707, and then we had a push up here, and we're getting rejection currently off the 236 extension. A very very simple fib pull. So we're having a dominant pivot down here. We have a dominant pivot up here, and we've got basically just a move up here. And something that Lilo had brought up on the Discord is that we do have a decent channel setup that we've got here. So we'll pull that up here, just kind of talk about that as well, keeping an eye on that. Here's one point of entry where we've got a pivot down here, a pivot up here, a pivot down here, a pivot down here, and then we've got another pivot up here. Now, arguably, this could be drawn just a little bit differently, but nonetheless, we do have a little bit of a channel. We're having a test up here at the top of this channel, which is a good area to do some shorts. So we've got a lot of confluence up here in this area, a lot of confluence, a lot of a lot that we would need to push through to get above that level. Also, paying attention, if we go to maybe a 2-hour or a 3-hour, we've got this level over here which we were keeping an eye on a long time ago, and if we extend this out, another point of proof that this is an area that is important for us to push through. We're basically sitting right at this level right here at $141. So right now we're sitting at 141, right smack dab on the nose. We've got this level, which is right at $141. It's very possible that we go up here. I've had this purple zone here. Again, this has been here for a long time, and this is sitting between $145 to $150. So, a lot to chew through if we are to go up any higher. But nonetheless, we do have, we do have an important level here that we do have to push through. And, I'll talk a lot about my stochastics here in just a little bit. But even if we pull this down here, we've got this 236 at 143.50. So even if we do push up one more time, we've got this 143.50 level to contend with, which is again that same 236 extension, depending on how you look at it. But again, if we take this pivot down up to this pivot up, we didn't quite get to the 618 on this pull. Maybe a front run, if you will. That's showing a sign of strength if we're looking at it from that perspective. If we take this down to this pivot right here, you can see we've already gone above that 236 extension. We did get a good reaction off the 618. We had a front run of the 236 where we were able to come back and get, you know, more juice to push us up here. But I'm more inclined to take my fib pull based off of this, where we had a good reaction here on the 707 level, which was the 618, and now we're getting a front run of the 618, and we're getting rejection at the negative 236 extension. So again, if we're able to take out the high from this push here, which was at about 143.15, then we've got a little more to look at as far as upside is concerned. But let me tell you why I'm thinking that we're topping out here. And just because I say we're topping out doesn't mean that we have topped out. It doesn't mean that we have made a pivot. It just simply means that I believe we're getting close to the top of this trend. And I'm going to go back to the hourly here, and I want to highlight a few things. Because as you know, I do like to pay very close attention to stochastics. I like to pay very close attention to stochastics, and I want to point out where we had, you know, a good bottoming formation down here. Let me move this out of the way. We had a good bottoming formation down here where so many of our stochastics were all oversold, and we had a good pivot to the downside. And this happened to be on the 2nd of January, January 2nd. Everything was way down here. It could be argued that we had the same situation down here on New Year's Eve, right? So we had New Year's Eve, and then we had the January 2nd. We had a good move down. You know, as we know, Bitcoin made a good move down on January 1st. Ethereum made a good move down on January 2nd, and we've had a good run ever since then. But now it could be argued everything is overbought. Everything, literally everything is overbought. And a lot of people on Twitter and everywhere, they're getting super bullish. They're talking about their sky high targets. You know, again, I'm looking up here at this level. You know, if we're able to get to 143.50, maybe a little bit higher than that, very possible. But we had a decent move down off of this. We had a good test of the hourly 21 exponential. But, you know, I tend to believe we do have a little bit further down to go. I'm not going to throw an Elliott wave on this. I'm not going to go that far, but I do think that it is very possible that we are going to go down. I'm going to go down here to a 5-minute time frame, and just to kind of show what pattern we are possibly creating here. It does look like we are starting to create a little bit of a rising wedge. And here, if we take a look at our fib, we've got basically, if this is a little bit of a correction, or at least a start of a correction, you know, if we go down here from this high, we could be creating an A, and then we're going to look to come up here to the 50 or the 618 to the B, and then we're going to come down here for the C, which again, this is going to take some time, all the way down here to 138.50. I think it's very possible that Ethereum does come down here to 138.50. And again, I'm taking my fib pull, let me get this out of the way again here, from the top of this, you know, basically I'll call it a blow off top, although there wasn't a ton of volume here, down here to this bottom, and then I'm going to be looking for a rejection at the 50. I'm going to be looking for a rejection at the 618. You can see, at least here on the 5-minute chart, the 21 and the 55 are trying to, you know, trying to touch a little bit here, maybe start a little bit of a cross, but I do think that there is potential that we do come up here to this level. And again, if we go here to maybe like a 15-minute time frame, you can see here that we had a good sharp reaction on this 21 exponential when we had this this you know, massive move down. And again, I do think that it is very possible we go here to the 50, we do go to the 618, but again, I'm keeping an eye on all these stochastics and not really paying attention to the 15 minute, but I'm paying attention to everything hourly and above. And let me just focus in on this. Everything on the hourly and above, I'm going to try and pull this out so we can see this here. Again, the green is our hourly. The orange is our 2-hour. So we've got the hourly, we've got the 2-hour, the 3-hour, we've got the 4-hour, the 6-hour, and the 12-hour even, which is all the way up here. Now the 12-hour is something that I pay attention to when we're in overbought and we're in oversold, or in bullish and bearish control zones. And the 12-hour approached that just a couple hours ago. So the 12-hour is sitting up there. If this baby curls down, then I do believe that we are in for a significant correction. And I'm not talking like the move down to Bitcoin's 5,500. I'm simply saying that, with the 12-hour being up here, if this thing crosses and starts to move down here into the neutral zone, I think that there is great potential that we are going to see a bigger move to the downside. And it's very possible that that has already started. I'm not saying that it has. I'm saying it's possible that it has. What I want to see is I want to see a move down below this level right here, which is, currently being our support zone that we're holding. We have a good, a good resistance now turn support. But let's see what happens here at the 50 and the 618 to see if we come down here and we start to create, this other meme, which will likely be brought up. We've got a shoulder, a head, and potentially another shoulder in the making. Let's see if that actually happens, because if that does happen, this 138.50 is going to be dwarfed in comparison to this target down here, which is going to be at 134.75, which likely will be the 200 exponential on the hourly. Possibly when we get there, if we get there. But keep an eye on some of these formations. Not saying that that is what's going to happen. Not saying that that is what is going to be happening here. But okay, that's my thought here on Ethereum. I am short on Ethereum from like 142.70 or so. So I've got some profit here. If it goes up, then whatever. I'll get back in. No big deal. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at Ethereum. And sorry, let's take a look at Bitcoin here. So Bitcoin is testing the 21 exponential here on the hourly. We're sitting here at 75.20. This pivot here, just happens that that this is pivoting on a very decent area. And I've been keeping an eye on this as well for quite some time. I've been talking about 76, 7800 to 8400 for a long time. So let's just take a look and see what we might have happening here. When we had this push up, this is basically just hitting right against this trend line. And it's hitting right against this trend line. We had a good reaction off of it. As far as the 2-hour goes, your 21 exponential sitting here at 74.50. Very possible that this rolls down. But I would say invalidation is going to be basically a reclaim of the 7,600 level. If we could reclaim 7,600, then I do think that there is potential that we do come here to 79 to 8,400. But at least for the time being, my bias is going to be bearish, and I'm simply saying that based off of the same stochastics that we were talking about here. Everything is looking to be overbought, and I'm not going to get super bullish right now. And that's just my bias. I'm saying that we had a good diagonal here. If you're taking a look at this, if you're looking at this from an Elliott perspective, it is very possible that we had this 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we had this blow off top, and now we're going to be going down. So what this looks like to me is maybe not a diagonal, but very possible that this is a broadening, expanding wedge to the upside. And in an uptrend, this does tend to break to the downside. So we'll wait and see what happens here. It's going to take time for this to work out. And we'll just wait and see what happens. But if we were to pull a fib on this, just like we did on Ethereum, pulling this from the top down here to the bottom, I'm going to be looking for a move. Gosh, if we get rejected here at the 382, then this is not looking to be very strong to the upside. But looking here for 75.50, 75.67, that's going to be it. Part of trading is knowing when you're wrong, and my area of invalidation here is at 76.14. If we break that, then that's okay. But at least for the time being, I'd say that we do have a little bit more upside, and then we're going to see what happens here, and we go down. So yeah, that's my opinion here in the market. You know, obviously there's somebody here in the chat box which has turned into the troll box, which is not in agreement with me. That's okay. And you don't have to agree with me, but I do think that there is more likelihood that we go down from that rejection on 7,600 than we go up. But again, I'll know when I'm wrong if we do breach 7,600 and we reclaim that as a support level. But for right now, I do say my bias is that we go down. We will see 7,400 or so here in the next couple days. More than likely, very possible it happens today. We'll see. I could be wrong, but nonetheless, if this helped you in any way, shape, or form, feel free to like, subscribe, share, and I'll be doing these updates as we go throughout the week. But if you have any questions or anything, feel free to hop in the Discord, and yeah, feel free to hop in the Discord and let me know if you have any questions or anything like that. If you'd like an invite to the Discord, feel free to throw in a comment. I will get you an invite. Otherwise, wherever you are in the world, hopefully you're having a good day, a good night, and a good evening.